Right now at 6, Jasper County residents vote to recall a Carthage council member.
We got some patchy fog out there this morning, a few clouds. We'll have a pretty decent fall-like day ahead of us. So look at that forecast, get you out the doors coming up.
Plus, Planned Parenthood plans to sue the state of Missouri for full abortion access.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It is Thursday, November the 7th, and it is 2024 still, but not for much longer.
No.
We're a few weeks away now from 2025, the future.
Yes, indeed. Hard to believe, kind of. I mean, I just can't believe how fast this year's gone by.
It has. I saw a post the other day. Somebody said, I haven't been able to keep track of time properly since the pandemic. And in all honesty, I think that's about right.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly
days and months and weeks are all just jumbled since that time. But thankfully, it's not 2525. It's the song Zager and Evans put together.
Yes.
A little dystopian future there. But we do have a beautiful start to the day. No dystopian future for us, at least in the 10-day forecast. Let's take a look outside, and I have figured out what's going on in downtown Pittsburgh. I couldn't see it earlier, but now you can see it. They're hanging up the Christmas decorations. That's what they're doing. So, but still, they're now working on the northbound side of Broadway, approaching 4th Street. See, there's the Christmas trees. I couldn't see some of them earlier, but now you see them. So, again, though, if you're traveling north on Broadway, slow down around 4th Street, give them some room to work as they are decorating the city for the holidays, which are going to be here before we know it. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline. Some other good news, the light at 20th and Rangeline has corrected itself. You can see that green glow there. So, I don't know what was happening about 30 minutes ago, but the world is settled back down for us. Do have some patchy fog still around Pittsburgh, 4.2 miles of visibility, patchy light fog in other areas, and you could still run into some patchy dense fog out there. So use your low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you got them. Slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going this morning. As we head into the afternoon, we'll have that northeast wind gusting occasionally 20-25 miles an hour. We'll have mostly clear to partly cloudy skies before clouds begin to thicken up late this evening and into the overnight hours. Temperatures seasonable but chilly for sure. 44 in Joplin as well as Pittsburgh. And as we take a look at temperatures around the region, we're still holding into the low, mid, and upper 40s. We now have Bentonville up to 50 is the warm spot out there. So again, all in all, yeah, it's cold, but we're right where we should be. And we can't complain about that considering how warm, what was it, September and October were? October was well above average for most of the month, so this is not bad. 44. Kids getting on the bus, northeast breeze 510. Again, maybe some patchy fog to contend with. About 61 when the bus brings them home. Winds picking up through the morning and into the afternoon out there. So on average, most of us looking to make the low 60s out there. Some may not make it out of the upper 50s. It will be partly cloudy, and then clouds will increase late this evening ahead of our rain chances. Tomorrow, we will talk about those rain chances and the week ahead here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right. See you soon, Chris. Thanks. Authorities are investigating an early morning house fire in Jasper County. The call came in just before 3:45 yesterday morning in the 500 block of County Lane 263. A home was engulfed when they arrived, and authorities say the fire began in the living room or kitchen area. A woman who lived there was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Well, some communities in our area received an unexpected side effect of all the rain the last few days, and that's sinkholes. Now, 2 have formed since Sunday, one in Duquesne and the other in Joplin. The Duquesne sinkhole appeared on the western edge of the city, and the Joplin sinkhole appeared at a residence near Parr Hill. That one measured 10 to 15 feet across and about 6 feet deep. Authorities say neither sinkhole poses a threat to any structures. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Sooner State claims historic voter turnout this year. In a statement from the Oklahoma Secretary of State Election Board, the unofficial numbers show more Oklahomans cast their vote for president than in any previous election. In-person early voting in the state set a new record with more than 120,000. The state also claimed the largest number of registered voters in the state heading into this election since tracking began in 2000. Well, Planned Parenthood says it plans to sue the state of Missouri for full abortion access. Missouri voters passed Amendment 3 Tuesday night, which provides a state constitutional right to reproductive freedom. However, there are still legal limits to abortions in the state. Planned Parenthood's lawsuit claims the restrictions around abortions that still exist, including requirements put upon healthcare providers of abortions, are unconstitutional. Healthcare providers are seeking to block a number of state laws that are now in conflict with the Missouri Constitution. Amendment 3 goes into effect in early December. Well, the Carthage City Council has another vacancy to fill after voters recalled council member Tiffany Kosey Tuesday. Jasper County Clerk Charlie Davis announced the vote 730 to 450. This comes after a petition to remove her gained enough votes this past summer, which led to the question being added to Tuesday's ballot. Some community members say they hope this brings some peace to the community.
Turmoil is never good. It's, try to get along with everyone as much as possible. It's not easy to do, but, I just hope that that will all reach fruition and everybody will be back and enjoying each other again.
Carthage City Council members say they will move forward to fill her position along with the other vacant seats in the City Council. Now, we've reached out to Kosey for comment, but have not heard back yet. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The USDA sets a new rule that prohibits processing fees on school lunches for low-income families. Plus, President-elect Donald Trump is moving forward with transition plans for his second term. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Thursday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning. Low-income families will soon pay less when adding money to students' school lunch accounts. The U.S. Department of Agriculture recently announced a new rule, and it will ban schools from charging junk fees for adding funds to school lunch accounts of families that qualify for free or reduced breakfast and lunch. One study from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau estimates low-income families pay 60 cents in processing fees for each dollar they spend on school lunch. School districts are encouraged to adhere to the new rule as soon as possible. It officially takes effect in the 2027 to 2028 school year. Well, another Federal Reserve rate could be coming later today. Reports say the Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates down another 0.25%. That follows September's rate cut of 0.5%. The cut would mean the rate the Reserve lends other bank monies would drop to around 4.5% to 4.75%. Financial experts say initial benefits will be small for a while, and that more cuts are needed for consumers who struggle with issues from housing and school loans to consumer credit card debt. Well, 7 states voted to cement reproductive rights into their state constitutions. Measures to protect abortion access in Arizona, Colorado, New York, Maryland, Missouri, Montana, and Nevada are projected to pass. In New York, Colorado, and Maryland, where abortion is legal at least up to the point of viability. Now, the measures will maintain current abortion access. In Missouri, the amendment will remarkably expand access to abortion, which is currently banned with no exceptions for rape or incest. And in Arizona, the amendment is expected to overturn the state's ban on abortions 15 weeks into pregnancy. Meanwhile, abortion measures in Florida and South Dakota failed. Florida's 6-week ban will remain in place, and the South Dakota will keep its law banning abortions with no exceptions for rape and incest. Well, President-elect Donald Trump and his team are moving forward with transition plans for his second term in the White House. Yesterday, Vice President Kamala Harris conceded the 2024 election after a historic run. She and President Joe Biden called and congratulated Trump and pledged to assist him in the peaceful transfer of power. Jared Hill has the latest from Washington.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
At Howard University, Vice President Kamala Harris urged her supporters to accept the results of the 2024 election, but not give up the broader fight.
This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves.
Harris also said she'll help with President-elect Donald Trump's transition and the peaceful transfer of power after calling earlier to congratulate him. The Trump team said in that call, President Trump acknowledged Vice President Harris on her strength, professionalism, and tenacity throughout the campaign.
We're going to make our country better than it ever has been.
Trump won, broadening his coalition from 4 years ago in nearly every state with almost every major demographic group. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders chided Democrats, saying it shouldn't be a surprise that a party, quote, which has abandoned working class people would find that the working class has abandoned them. President Biden will address the nation today. In a statement, he praised his VP as a tremendous partner and public servant. Biden's team says the president also congratulated Trump on the phone, inviting him to the White House.
Certainly a happy day for the GOP.
On Capitol Hill, the Senate's top Republican took a victory lap yesterday, with the election flipping the upper chamber to GOP control. Republican leaders in the House are also claiming victory, though votes are still being counted to determine whether the GOP will have a full mandate in Washington. Jared Hill, CBS News, Washington, D.C.
President-elect Trump has already announced the heads of his transition team, Linda McMahon and Howard Lutnick. We have learned that Special Counsel Jack Smith and the Department of Justice are in talks about how to wind down federal prosecutions against President-elect Trump. One case stems from alleged plans to subvert the peaceful transfer of power around the 2020 election, and the other relates to classified documents seized at Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence. Trump has denied all wrongdoing. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, as you can see, we still have some patchy fog out there, especially around the Pittsburgh area. It's a little more dense, so do be careful. Low beams, not your high beams. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
Well, a Philadelphia elementary school is celebrating a very special teacher. The woman has been an educator in the city for 50 years and is dedicated to inspiring young minds. Nick Iadonisi has more.
I think being a teacher is almost something that you're born with, that you always want to be a teacher from the time you're a little girl. My name is Kathleen O'Hanlon, and I'm a first grade teacher here at Bridesburg Elementary School in Philadelphia. I am celebrating my 50th anniversary as a Philadelphia public school teacher. And we're going to begin a story. Who teaches for 50 years? I imagine I would have thought I would have been long retired, but I've been rewarded with having wonderful colleagues. My Aunt Philomena O'Hanlon was a teacher in the school district of Philadelphia from the day I was born, and she was my role model. My father said to me, Kathy, you're never going to get old being around the children, and I believe that's really true. I'm enjoying every day still being a teacher. How many people who are here who are in upper grades I taught? Oh my gosh.
We saw kids from multiple generations that really appreciate what she's brought into their lives. We've seen teachers she's touched.
Thank you so much. It means so much.
There's a school board resolution in her honor, and then the state rep, he presented to her a certificate on behalf of the state. She's been able to adapt and evolve over 50 years of changes in education in terms of the technology that teachers use.
I thank you.
She's giving so much to this, and it's giving back to her, and you can see that all the time.
This is most probably the greatest day I've ever had in my life. Thank you so much.
Now let's head over to Chris with a quick look at the forecast.
Yeah, we got some Patchy fog out there. Otherwise, not a bad day, a little bit on the cool side. Well, we'll look at your forecast in detail when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:21, almost 6:22 on this Thursday morning. Fog tracker, again, some denser fog parts of Cherokee, Crawford, and Barton counties out there, with Pittsburgh reporting just over 4 miles of visibility. And we have patchy fog across the region, so it's something to keep in mind. You got to watch out for those areas of patchy, dense fog as well. So again, use your low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you have them, and slow down. Once we get past the fog, we are looking at mostly clear to partly cloudy skies today. We'll have those northeast winds gusting upwards of 20 to 25 miles an hour. And temperatures today, some of us will be right about average. Others will be a little below, maybe not even making it out of the upper 50s today for our highs, even though, again, we're going to have a fair amount of sunshine out there. It will still be a bit cool. Overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. This is the same area we were talking about yesterday. So Chinook, Fredonia, Yates Center, Burlington, those are going to be the better locations for some isolated, the widely scattered showers and storms late tonight into early tomorrow morning, and maybe a sprinkle or two outside of that. Then we'll have that pause, and by mid to late morning on Friday, which is tomorrow. Now I think about tomorrow's Friday. All right. We'll have more showers and thunderstorms out there that'll start rolling through. Now, the great news is it may look a little scary on the future track. That's just with some heavy rain. We are not at this point anticipating any severe weather. This is not the setup we had at the beginning of this week, which again was a very bizarre, out-of-place springtime setup. This is just some showers and storms along a boundary. But we could see some heavy rain with grounds being saturated already. Do need to be aware of the potential of flash flooding. By noon, Yates Center, Chinook, Parsons, Fredonia, Coffeyville, Veneta, Bartlesville getting in on thunderstorm activity. Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, it's knocking on your door. By about 3 o'clock, we've got a line of showers and storms now from Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Joplin, Anderson, Bentonville, getting ready to roll into Lamar and Nevada with some moderate rainfall back behind that line. And this will continue to push on through off to the north, the east-northeast. Winds will shift in out of the east behind it, initially out of the northeast, then back to the east. We'll have a little bit of a pause late Friday, another round of storms. Yates Center, Chinook, Parsons, Coffeyville, Fredonia will start rolling in, and this will continue to lift off to the northeast out there and bring additional showers and storms scattered overnight Friday into the first part of our Saturday. And by about late morning, noon on Saturday, skies clear out and our Saturday looks fantastic. Looking pretty good so far. We do have some clouds out there. It's mostly cloudy in Joplin. 45 is where we're sitting with a northeast breeze at about 10 miles an hour. Across the area, temperature's chilly, but seasonably so. We're low, mid, upper 40s. And of course, we have Bentonville for some reason. You know, they want to be a little cooler. They want to be a little warmer. So they're sitting at about 50 degrees. Patchy fog continuing through about 9 o'clock this morning, then it goes away. We'll start in about the mid-40s, mid-50s by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs for most of us, low 60s, so right about where we should be. But again, some folks out there may not make it out of the upper 50s. And as we head into tomorrow, mid-60s Friday, Saturday, we got the thunderstorm chances out there. Again, still breezy on Friday. And then we head into Sunday, looks great, mid-60s. Unfortunately, see, we start to warm up. Now, these are nice temperatures, don't get me wrong, that's great, but they're not November temperatures. We're going to go above normal, and by Wednesday, another cold front comes in, thunderstorm chances. We'll keep an eye on that one, but at least right now, just some storms and considerably cooler back behind it. We go below normal for Thursday, near normal on Friday, and then back to above normal by next Saturday. That is a check of your forecast. Now, here's Elise with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Researchers say they're able to detect lung cancer from just a patient's breath. Now, a new study by the American Chemical Society found a drop in the chemical called isoprene can indicate the presence of lung cancer. But to detect that, an ultra-sensitive sensor would need to be used. The findings could eventually lead to non-invasive lung cancer tests. Well, a new nasal swab test could predict how severe COVID will be for a person. A study by Emory University found that by using nasal swabs, researchers could see which people developed COVID antibodies and which people did not. Now, with this test, doctors may be able to develop more effective treatments for people at risk for severe COVID. And just 5 minutes of exercise a day could lower your blood pressure. A study published by the journal Circulation found the benefit comes from raising your heart rate, whether it's from running, cycling, or climbing stairs. High blood pressure is one of the biggest causes of premature death, affecting 1.2 billion people. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, Pittsburgh's Memorial Auditorium hosts a celebration of grant recipients.
And we have some patchy fog out there, cloudy skies to start, and we'll have a little more sunshine, cool weather as well. Look at that forecast get you out the door coming up.
Plus, over 100 museum professionals make their way to Fort Scott for a museum conference.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:29. I'm Elise Snowe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Thursday, November the 7th, and we have made it past the election. We have made it now. We're a couple of days out from it.
Certainly so, yes.
Everything's still going on.
Yes, it feels like a long week, starting out with severe weather, then with the election. When you said just a few moments ago that it's going to be Friday tomorrow, I almost didn't believe you.
Yeah, it has been a long and busy week for sure in both the news and weather departments here. So thankfully things calming down a bit. Do have some rain chances into our Friday, but nothing crazy, nothing we have to panic about at this point. Excuse me. As for today, though, too many Cheez-Its again. There's something about Cheez-Its in the morning.
Seriously.
Okay, there we go. All right, let's take a look outside before the Cheez-Its come back with a vengeance. And you can see we do have those mostly cloudy skies. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh. We also have cloudy skies from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line in Missouri. And we also have some patchy fog to contend with, as we've got some denser fog again, still through parts of Cherokee, Crawford, and Barton counties out there, with the lowest visibility in Pittsburgh at 4.2 miles. But you can see slightly reduced visibilities in other locations as well. So just bear in mind, watch out for patchy, dense fog out there. And of course, slow down, low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you have them. All right, into the afternoon, we get rid of the fog and we're going to have mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. And a gusty northeast wind out there pushing about 20 to 25 miles an hour. And then clouds will really start to increase by late evening and overnight tonight. Temperatures seasonably cold, 45 in Joplin, 44 in Pittsburgh. And across the region, cooler up north, warmer down south, low, mid, upper 40s, and then Bentonville, you know, they're being awesome or whatever it is they're doing down there, but it is 50 in Bentonville. Kids getting on the bus this morning, we're looking to be about 44 against some patchy fog. Northeast winds around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Winds increase through the morning into the afternoon, about 61 when that bus brings them back home. So for most of us, highs about 61. Some of you may be a degree or two warmer. Some may not make it out of the upper 50s today, but still not a bad day. Just that wind we have to contend with and partly cloudy skies out there. Rain chances begin to increase into our Friday and early Saturday. Details on that in the full forecast a little later. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, if you need to get a new driver's license in Missouri, you'll have to wait until next week. The Missouri Department of Revenue is rolling out a new driver's license system across the state. Now they're installing new equipment. It'll eventually allow you to renew your license online, but to get those systems in place, they have to pause driver's license services. Some license offices will be open today for motor vehicle services only, but expect all offices to be closed on Friday and Monday for Veterans Day. They expect the new systems to be up and running by Tuesday. Well, dozens of businesses and colleges showed up at McDonald County High School yesterday for a career fair. The event offered student career insights into such fields as retail and manufacturing, healthcare and government, and others. The goal was to give students an opportunity to network with local business leaders and to provide a look at some possible future career opportunities.
The main goal is just sprinkling those seeds of what are you going to do in the future. Whether they're a sophomore in high school or a senior in high school, the main thing is that they can see what's out there, and if they're interested in something, what route do they need to take to get there.
Students were able to use a fun bingo-style card to collect career information, making the event both fun and interactive and educational. Well, the city of Pittsburgh will hold its annual State of the City address this coming Tuesday at Memorial Auditorium. Members of the Pittsburgh City Commission will be there, and the public is invited to attend this free event, although a limited number of tickets are available through Memorial Auditorium. Well, last night, donors and friends gathered at the Pittsburgh Memorial Auditorium as the Community Foundation of Southeast Kansas celebrated its grant recipients for the past year. Now, the grants fund projects in a wide variety of charitable causes like children and youth activities, housing assistance, women's health, and many others.
We give grants for anything from childcare to tennis shoes to playground equipment, anything in between. There's so many needs of our Southeast Kansas group of people, and we have the money and we love being able to give it out.
You can learn more about grants available online on the Community Foundation of Southeast Kansas website. Well, over 100 museum professionals from around Kansas are in Fort Scott for a 3-day gathering. The Gordon Parks Museum is hosting the 2024 Kansas Museums Association Conference, but activities are spilling over to other Fort Scott venues, including the Fort Scott National Historic Site, the Lowell Milken Center, and the Ellis Fine Arts Center. Conference attendees are touring various attractions and attending workshops on a wide range of topics and the latest trends in museums and preservation. That includes efforts to preserve Native American history.
Information for museums on how they can better work with the indigenous communities in Kansas. I think one of the things a lot of people think about with the Native Americans that happened long ago. Those people are still here with us in our communities, and we just need to find a way to make their stories told throughout the museum community.
The conference wraps up tomorrow. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We'll learn some tips and tricks on how to create a budget so you don't overspend this holiday season. And we have a nice and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, the holidays are right around the corner and experts predict spending to be at an all-time high. Now is the time to start thinking about budgeting. Jen Sullivan looks at shopping trends and how to avoid the holidays from hurting your finances.
It's the season of giving, but if you're not careful with finances, you could be getting a hefty bill at the end of the holiday season. Experts say shopping as early as now can help you budget.
We have seen a trend over the last couple of years of consumers starting their shopping a little earlier for the winter holidays.
Catherine Cullen with the National Retail Federation says holiday spending this year is expected to hit an all-time high, with shoppers spending an average of $902 per person, about $641 going towards gifts and the rest towards food, cards, and decor. There is some good news for shoppers this year.
We do know that in many ways inflation has gotten better than it was last year, particularly when it comes to goods, which is great news for consumers.
A recent survey by NerdWallet found 28% of shoppers who used credit cards to buy gifts last year are still paying off that debt. So, how can you make sure you don't overspend?
The best thing to do is to really make a plan before you start spending. Ideally, we want to use our savings and not debt to fund those purchases.
NerdWallet personal finance expert Kimberly Palmer also recommends these tips. Make a list and figure out exactly how much you want to spend. Start shopping early. Talk to family and friends about expectations and possibly scaling back. And sign up for price drop alerts.
Using some kind of browser add-on like Honey or the Camelizer browser extension just to track those prices can just help make sure that you're getting the best deal possible.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Well, President-elect Donald Trump's win at the polls Tuesday not only sent Wall Street stocks soaring, but it also gave a massive boost to Bitcoin. The cryptocurrency briefly topped over $75,000, a new record. Though it ended the day dipping to about $73,000, Trump pledged to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the planet during his campaign. Well, Stellantis says it plans to lay off more than 1,000 workers indefinitely at a Toledo, Ohio Jeep Gladiator plant, saying the actions are, quote, necessary to enable the company to regain its competitive edge. The layoffs are expected to take place as soon as January of next year. The news comes about a year after a 6-week auto workers strike brought dozens of big three automaker plants to a halt across 20 states. And a taste of the holidays is returning to Haagen-Dazs shops around the country. Starting November 15th, the frozen treat chain is bringing back its peppermint bark flavored ice cream, milkshake, and Dazzler. The new menu items will be available through the end of January. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a pretty decent start to the day. It's a bit cool. It's a bit cloudy. So, I mean, I guess decent is... It's however you define it, but it's not bad. It could be worse out there. We could be dealing with the blizzard conditions and the heavy snow they're getting out in New Mexico into the Rockies into Colorado. There's parts of I-70 in Colorado closed because of snow. So thankfully it's not snowing here yet. We've got ourselves the cloudy skies, our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Cloudy skies also from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line in Joplin. Fog tracker, again, the fog is really all morning almost been confined to the same zones. Now, Bentonville's now reporting some significantly reduced visibilities, and we have reduced visibilities elsewhere, but the densest fog we've seen so far in our immediate area has been around the Pittsburgh area, parts of Cherokee, Crawford, and Barton counties. But you still need to be careful, because take a look. It doesn't look that dense on the map here, but Bentonville's only reporting about 1.5 miles of visibility. So slow down, use your low beams, not your high beams. Give yourself time to get where you're going. Watch out for patchy, dense fog. Into the afternoon, we will have mostly clear to partly cloudy skies, with those clouds really starting to pick up as we go late this evening and overnight. And we'll have those northeast winds gusting upwards of about 20 to 25. 45 Joplin, 44 in Pittsburgh, and around the region we've got low, mid, and upper 40s with Bentonville sitting at 50 this morning. Kids getting on the bus, 44. Some fog out there to contend with, at least for some of us. Northeast winds 5 to 10. Northeast winds again picking up this afternoon, about 61 when that bus brings them home. We're going to have another look at your forecast, plus birthdays and anniversaries right after this break. But first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Gail King, coming right up on CBS Mornings. Award-winning actress, there she is, Christina Ricci joins us to talk about her latest passion project, tarot cards, and how it helps guide her life. Plus, actor Luke Grimes, look at him, will be here as we continue to celebrate Yellowstone Week. Can't wait. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Thursday birthdays in the 4 states. We're beginning in Carl Junction with Parker Maloney, celebrating birthday number 2. Happy birthday.
And heading over to Miami, a happy 6th birthday to Ava Scarlett Kidd. Says here, love from Nana and Papa.
And in Mound Valley, Camden Thompson celebrating birthday number 6 as well, with love coming from Mimi and Papa.
And celebrating their 6th birthday today is Cash Kirkwood from Baxter Springs. Says here, happy birthday, Cash. Love Mima and Papa Kirkwood. Happy birthday.
And in Arcadia, we have Carson Crozier celebrating birthday number 12. Happy birthday, Carson.
And happy 17th birthday to Colby Matson in Galena. Says we love you and are so proud of you. Love Grandma Patty and Aunt Jen Jen.
And in Joplin, Allie Lawrence celebrating birthday number 21 today. Happy birthday, Allie.
And in Fort Scott, a happy 37th birthday to Jake Herford. Says love the Cutlers.
And in Pittsburgh, Darren Schreiber is celebrating birthday number 40 today. Happy birthday.
And happy birthday to Lindsay Faye Guffey, celebrating birthday number 41.
And Tanya Davis in Pittsburgh celebrating birthday number 50, with love coming from her family.
And a happy 60th birthday to Kathy Saloga. It says we love you, love Chris, Amber, Trinity, Colt, and Ryan.
I was wondering if you were going to put together the names on that. So that's my mother-in-law. She's a fantastic lady. She works at Walmart in Carthage, so if you're up that way, be sure to tell her happy birthday and or embarrass her if at all possible. We've got our list continuing with Shirley's Whalen in Oswego celebrating birthday number 70 today. Happy birthday, Shirley.
And another Shirley happens to be celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to Shirley Beneke in Parsons celebrating birthday number 89. Says here, wishing you the best day. Love always from your family.
Parsons and Oswego, not too terribly far apart. That could be the beginning of a new friendship right there. We also have Lacey Brandstein celebrating another year wiser in Columbus.
And a happy birthday to Mike White, also in Columbus.
And then heading back to Parsons, Patsy Hale celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Patsy.
And a happy 25th anniversary to Tom and Jeanette Savart. Says here, happy anniversary, love Skylar and Amelia.
All right, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries. And if you would like to celebrate with us, what should they do, Elise?
Yes, go ahead and submit those birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those photos, messages to meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen, and to also include the date of your submission, or your celebration rather, when you're submitting.
All right, and ensure that you do that. And something I've got to do some empirical research on at some point. Now, I've noticed this in almost every birthday list when they come from the grandparents. Papa is always like the same name given for grandpas, but there's 100 different variations for grandma. There's Mimi and Mima and all these other names, but grandpas are always Papa. Not a lot. It struck me as interesting. You know what else is interesting? The fog. It can be dangerous too if you run into dense fog. So again, Cherokee, Crawford, Barton counties got some slightly denser fog. Bentonville reporting more reduced visibilities, just under 2 miles down there. And we have slightly reduced visibilities, Nevada and Stockton, even up in Iola. So again, just watch out for the dense fog. Low beams, not your high beams. Use your fog lights if you have them. And just remember, it's better to be a few minutes late than not arrive at all. And if your boss has a problem with that, just remind them that we told you it's better to be a few minutes late than not arrive at all. And you tell them the same thing, because I think they'll agree, especially if you're a valued employee and you know you are, and you know they're going to be like, no, that's cool, man, it's great that you're here. That's how it should go. All right, into the afternoon. Here we go. Got that gusty northeast wind pushing 20-25 miles an hour. We'll have mostly clear to partly cloudy skies as we head through the day today. Temperatures a little cooler. Some of us right about average. Others may not make it out of the upper 50s today. Clouds thicken up late this evening and overnight. And as we go overnight, just like we were talking about yesterday, still kind of the same thing. Fredonia, Chanute, Yates Center, Burlington, communities to the north and west, maybe even down to Howard and Sedan. That's where we'll have a slightly better chance of a stray shower or storm overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. Maybe a sprinkle or two outside of that zone, but that's going to be the better chance for some rain early in the morning. Now, once we go about mid to late morning, we'll get more organized showers and thunderstorms to push into the area. And even though it looks a little spooky with these yellows and reds and oranges on here, it's not expected to be severe. But these colors still indicate heavy rain, so flash flooding could be a concern, especially, you saw those rain totals. Between the weekend and into Monday, some locations receiving nearly a foot of rain. Ground is still fairly saturated, so do be aware of the potential for some flash flooding as we head into Friday and into Saturday, because by 3 o'clock Friday, here's this line of storms from Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Lamar, Joplin, Anderson, and it continues to push off to the north and east. And then we'll have some moderate rainfall back behind that by Friday evening, maybe some little pauses, and then additional showers and storms late Friday into early Saturday, initially into southeast Kansas, and they'll be scattered across the region as we go overnight, early Saturday as this boundary moves on out of here. In fact, you can see that wind shift line, and here it is just outside of Stockton by Saturday at noon. Behind it, a little bit breezy and a little bit warmer out there as well for our Saturday. Quick look at temperatures. 45 in Joplin, obviously quite cloudy. Northeast winds at about 10. And around the area, a seasonable start to the day. Low, mid, upper 40s. And again, Bentonville still holding on as the warm spot, sitting at 50. We're going to start our day again about the mid 40s. Patchy fog through about 9. Partly cloudy skies, cool, but not bad. Mid 50s by 11 o'clock this morning. We'll have another look at your forecast. News you need to know here in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to hear thoughts from some first-time voters on how they think their first election went.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Planned Parenthood says it plans to sue the state of Missouri after voters passed Amendment 3 Tuesday night, which provides a state constitutional right to reproductive freedom. Planned Parenthood's lawsuit claims the restrictions around abortions that still exist, including requirements put upon healthcare providers of abortions, are unconstitutional. Amendment 3 goes into effect in early December. The Carthage Council has another vacancy to fill after voters recalled council member Tiffany Coasty Tuesday. Some community members say they hope this brings some peace to the community. Carthage City Council members say they will move forward to fill her position along with the other vacant seats in the City Council. And if you need to get a new driver's license in Missouri, you'll have to wait until next week. A new driver's license system is being rolled out across the state. A few license offices will be open today for motor vehicle services only, but expect all offices to be closed Friday and Monday. The new system should be up and running by Tuesday. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
As you head out the door, a bit chilly, some patchy fog, and we're looking at about 61 for most of us, but upper 50s are possible, maybe a degree or two warmer for some in our southern counties. Northeast winds gusting 20-25 with partly cloudy skies. Gusty winds continue through the evening and overnight, clouds increasing as well. And we'll go mostly cloudy tonight, back into the mid-40s. Maybe a stray shower or storm in the morning in our northwestern counties tomorrow. Better storm chances late morning through the afternoon, overnight, and into the first half of our Saturday. Again, no severe weather expected. That's the important thing here. We dry out in the second half of our Saturday, warming up. Another cold front next week will bring us more storms and cooler weather.
All right, thanks. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making pepperoni pie squares in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. The balance of power is still up for grabs in the House of Representatives. Ahead on CBS Mornings, what it would mean for the country if Republicans control the White House and both chambers of Congress.
Or we can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Misty White and Robin Manival join us in the studio to talk about the Share the Harvest Color Fun Run and Raffle.
Plus, Renato Pinto also joining us in the studio to talk about the third annual Pittsburgh Turkey Trot 5K. However, that's going to wrap it up for us for now. We will be back here tomorrow morning bright and early at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.